You've been running, chasing peace in people, control in success, and meaning in noise. But still, something inside you trembles. You don't need more answers, you need to awaken. The greatest war is not with the world, but with the self that refuses to listen. To master your life, you must first master yourself. These Buddhist teachings reveal what most never understand, that every emotion, failure, and fear is your mirror calling you home. Once you work on yourself and master your emotions, you no longer survive, you transform. Watch till the end. The final lesson will break everything you thought you knew about peace. Before we begin, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video opens a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist truth you won't find anywhere else. 1. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Ask yourself gently, why do we comfort our weaknesses more than we confront them? The mind offers reasons like soft blankets, familiar, easy, convincing, while the soul quietly leans toward growth. The mind makes excuses, the soul seeks evolution. Hold that line and feel the small tension it creates inside you. That tension is the doorway to change. Think of the gardener who tends a plot of familiar weeds, sheltering them because they are known. We do the same with habits that drain us. We water doubt, prune possibility, and in the name of comfort, we protect what keeps us small. This is not judgment, it is observation. Notice how protecting the familiar costs you light, space, creativity. Little by little, the soil becomes thin and lifeless. Imagine for a moment removing one old weed from your garden today. Just one. Picture the soft lift of your hand, the small tug, the earth revealing darker, richer soil beneath. Light slips in, air moves. That single act is modest and mighty. It teaches your body and your mind that loss can be fertile, that letting go invites life. You do not have to clear the whole garden at once. Begin with one root. Where have you romanticized weakness as part of me? Be specific. Perhaps it is a pattern of avoidance, a relationship you call comfort, a fear you dress as prudence. Name it without shame. When you call the thing by its true name, it loses the glamour you gave it and becomes manageable. The sacred work is to trade stories for actions, small consistent acts that prove a new story true. Practically, choose one small tangible discipline today. It could be a 5-minute pause before answering, a refusal to replay a familiar grievance, or a single truthful conversation. Repeat it until the body believes it. Discipline is not punishment. It is friendship with your future self. Each repeated choice rewrites the neural path, gentle as a footpath forming across a meadow. Feel the consequences of settling, the slow erosion of possibility, the quiet dimming of courage. Then imagine the opposite, how sustained honesty with yourself builds reserve, clarity, compassion. Mastery begins where excuses end. When you stop defending your limitations, you open room for steadiness, for creativity, for a calm authority that does not need to shout. A final reflection. What would your life look like without this excuse? Sit with the image long enough for it to feel real. Let that vision become a beacon, not a demand. The moral is simple and severe. Meet the weakness you cherish and choose evolution. Most people try to master life before they have met themselves. Meet yourself tonight and watch the world rearrange to your calm. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I'm mastering myself." 2. Silence is not emptiness. It's power gathering. Why do we fear silence when it is the very doorway to strength? Perhaps because in silence there is nowhere to hide. The noise of the world becomes our shield, and without it, we meet the raw truth of who we are. But silence, dear one, is not emptiness. It is power gathering. From still water, mountains are reflected clearly. When the mind quiets, your inner world becomes a mirror where truth can finally be seen. Think of the pause between two breaths. It's invisible, barely noticed, yet within that space, life renews itself. That is what silence is, a sacred interval where the universe reorganizes, where chaos settles into order. When you sit in silence, you are not withdrawing from life. You are returning to its source. The noise outside is movement. The silence within is wisdom. Imagine sitting quietly for 1 minute. No striving, no fixing, no reaching. Just notice the rhythm of your breath, the rise, the fall, the pause. Feel how the silence begins to breathe you. It fills the space between thoughts, softens the edges of fear, and begins to whisper the truths your busy mind forgot. This moment is not empty. It is alive with unseen creation. Every great decision, every spiritual awakening, every act of clarity begins here in the fertile soil of stillness. Ask yourself, what am I running from in silence? Often it is not the silence itself, but the echo of unresolved emotions waiting to be met. The mind mistakes this meeting for danger, yet in truth, it is liberation. When was the last time you felt peace, not noise? Let this question linger. There is a deep peace that waits beneath the surface of every restless thought. When you surrender to it, even for a heartbeat, you begin to sense a power that doesn't need to prove itself. Silence teaches without speaking. It polishes perception until clarity shines through confusion. It reminds you that strength is not loud and peace is not passive. Every time you return to silence, you are gathering invisible energy, discipline, clarity, compassion, all the qualities that build an unshakable mind. You begin to live from the inside out, no longer reacting, but responding with calm intention. Can you let silence teach you what words cannot? Sit with it tonight. Let the stillness become your teacher, your healer, your mirror. The moral is quiet, yet profound. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of your true self. Once you learn to rest there, you will never be the same again. 3. Conquer yourself and you conquer everything. What if mastery over your emotions was the only battle that ever truly mattered? We spend our lives trying to conquer circumstances, people, and outcomes, yet remain strangers to the wars that rage within. The Buddha once said, "Victory over the self ends all wars." This is the battlefield that determines everything else, the unseen struggle between impulse and awareness, reaction and response, chaos and calm. The sharpest sword is useless in the hands of one still at war with his own shadow. You can win arguments, gain wealth, or rise in status, but if your emotions rule your peace, victory remains hollow. True strength is quiet, it does not shout, it does not break others to prove its power. It simply stands unshaken, anchored in wisdom. To conquer yourself is to stop fighting the world and start understanding it through the stillness of your own mind. Imagine your emotions as waves upon an ocean. They rise, they crash, they fade. But beneath every storm lies the same still depth, untouched, vast, and eternal. That stillness is your true nature. When you begin to rise with your emotions without drowning in them, you discover a power deeper than control. It is harmony. You no longer resist the storm, you observe it pass. You are not the wave, you are the ocean. Ask yourself, which emotions control me most? Anger, fear, jealousy, pride. Each one is a teacher disguised as discomfort. Notice how they arise, how they grip you, how they fade when you stop feeding them. Every time you pause before reacting, you reclaim territory within yourself. This is self-mastery and practice, minute by minute, breath by breath. It is not suppression, it is understanding. What would inner victory look like for you? Perhaps it is peace amid uncertainty, kindness when provoked, patience in the face of chaos. These are not weaknesses, they are marks of spiritual strength. When the mind is mastered, even pain becomes a messenger, not an enemy. You no longer fight yourself, you align with life. Do you fight yourself more than life itself? This question is your mirror. The moment you stop wrestling with your thoughts, you begin to see reality as it is, not as fear paints it. The outer world bends to the one who governs the inner. So, conquer yourself, not with force, but with awareness. The greatest victory is not loud, it is serene. Once you win the war within, everything outside becomes peace. 4. Let the old you die with grace. Why do we mourn endings when they are only transformations in disguise? We cling to what we once were, mistaking familiarity for safety, and call it love. Yet, as the Buddha taught, everything that arises must also fall away. Every rebirth begins with a quiet death. The pain we feel when something ends is not punishment. It is the cracking open of an old shell that no longer fits the spirit growing within. The caterpillar does not cling to its old skin. It surrenders into darkness, dissolves entirely, and from that surrender, wings are born. But we humans resist this sacred process. We grieve the shedding of what once defined us, an identity, a habit, a relationship, a dream. We whisper, "Who will I be without this?" Yet, in truth, the one asking that question is already fading, making space for a self far deeper, freer, and more awake. Picture yourself shedding an old belief that no longer serves you, something heavy, limiting, a story that has kept you small. Imagine it falling away like dust from your shoulders. Breathe into the lightness that follows. This is not loss, this is liberation. Growth is rarely gentle, but it is always sacred. The old you is not your enemy. It is the seed from which the new you blossoms. Ask yourself, what version of me has expired but I still defend? Perhaps it is the people-pleaser who feared disapproval, or the perfectionist who thought peace must be earned. These versions carried you here. They did their job, but they cannot walk the next path. Honor them, thank them, and let them rest. Transformation begins when gratitude replaces resistance. What are you afraid will happen if you let go? The mind imagines emptiness, but what truly awaits is space, space for clarity, love, silence, and peace. You cannot be reborn into expansion while gripping the walls of the past. Trust the process, for endings are not failures, they are sacred initiations. Every ending is life rearranging itself to meet your evolution. Can you trust that endings are sacred beginnings? Sit with that question like a koan. Let it dissolve your fear of change. When you stop mourning the old self and begin honoring its purpose, life unfolds in grace. The moral is timeless. Do not rush your rebirth, but do not resist it either. The soul's progress depends on your willingness to die a little each day to who you were. When the old you dies with grace, the real you finally begins to live. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I'm mastering myself." 5. Don't try to control life. Understand it. What if the need to control is the very thing keeping you from peace? The mind believes that control equals safety, that if we manage every detail, we can prevent pain. But the Buddha taught that attachment to outcomes is the root of suffering. Control is the illusion that fear wears as confidence. It feels powerful to plan, to push, to resist uncertainty. Yet beneath that tension lies fear. Fear that life might not align with our expectations. fear that we are not enough if it doesn't. Look closely. Life has never truly been in our control. Seasons change, people come and go, emotions rise and fall. The more we fight this rhythm, the more exhausted we become. Imagine trying to hold a river still with your hands. It slips through your fingers, not to mock you, but to remind you of its nature. The river doesn't force its path. It flows around obstacles with wisdom older than time. And when it meets a rock, it does not argue. It simply finds another way. Imagine yourself as water, soft, clear, moving, adapting, calm, yet unstoppable. Notice how water never resists its nature. It bends, it yields, and in doing so, it carves mountains. This is the art of understanding rather than controlling. When you flow with life instead of against it, you begin to see that every delay, every detour has its place. Control seeks domination. Understanding seeks harmony. Where are you forcing instead of flowing? Perhaps in relationships, in your work, or in your search for meaning. Notice the moments when your body tightens, when your breath shortens. Those are signs of resistance. In those moments, ask gently, what am I afraid will collapse if I stop controlling? The truth is, what is meant for you cannot collapse. It can only evolve. What is not meant for you will fade, no matter how tightly you hold on. Trust is the highest form of wisdom. When you stop trying to control life, you begin to experience it, not as a battle to win, but as a river to journey with. Trust life's timing more deeply. Everything unfolds exactly as it must, not as your mind demands. The moral is simple. Peace is not found in power, but in participation, in flowing with the great movement of existence. When you stop wrestling with life, you begin to dance with it, and in that dance, control dissolves into clarity and fear into freedom. 6. Subtract, don't add. The secret of growth. Why do we believe that more is better when less often reveals the truth? The modern mind has been taught to collect possessions, achievements, even identities, believing accumulation will lead to fulfillment. Yet in Buddhism, the path to awakening is not through adding more layers, but through gentle subtraction. Perfection is not when nothing can be added, but when nothing needs to be removed. True growth is not expansion outward, but a quiet returning inward. We chase after new habits, new titles, new affirmations, yet still feel heavy. It's because peace is not hidden in what you can gain, it's buried beneath what you refuse to let go of. Imagine the sculptor at work. He does not add clay to create beauty, he removes what hides it. Every strike of his chisel is an act of faith, trusting that the form already exists within the stone. The same is true for you. Beneath the noise, beneath the expectations, your essence is already whole, waiting to be uncovered, not constructed. Picture yourself carving away one distraction from your day, just one. Perhaps it's the endless scrolling, the constant comparison, the need to explain yourself. Feel the silence that follows, the lightness that enters. That space is not empty, it's alive. In that space, presence grows, awareness deepens, life begins to breathe through you again. The clutter of the outer world dissolves, and what remains is truth, simple, silent, sufficient. Ask yourself, what clutter blocks my clarity? It could be mental, old grudges, opinions, fears, or emotional attachments that no longer align with your peace. Whatever it is, it does not define you, it only covers you. What are you ready to release to rise higher? Remember, letting go does not mean losing, it means returning. Returning to what has always been yours, stillness, joy, and inner freedom. How would your peace feel if it wasn't crowded by excess? Close your eyes and imagine it. a day lived simply, with fewer wants and deeper breaths. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us, liberation is subtraction. The less you carry, the more you see. The moral is gentle, yet powerful. Growth is not becoming more, it's becoming real. Strip away what is false, and the truth will shine on its own. The less you try to fill yourself, the more you will realize. You are never empty. Once you learn to subtract with grace, you begin to live with clarity, and in that simplicity, you discover peace that no addition could ever give. 7. Detach to discover your true focus. Can discipline exist without attachment? We often confuse focus with fixation, devotion with dependence. But the Buddha taught that true clarity arises only when the mind is free from clinging. The detached mind sees clearly, the grasping mind only reacts. Detachment does not mean indifference, it means presence without possession. It is the ability to love, work, and strive deeply, yet not lose yourself in the outcome. Like the moon's reflection on water, the more still the lake, the clearer the image. When the mind ripples with desire, fear, or control, truth becomes distorted. But when stillness returns, reality reflects itself perfectly. The practice of detachment is not about withdrawal from life. It is about entering life more completely, without distortion. When you no longer demand that things unfold your way, you begin to see them as they truly are. Imagine standing beside a calm lake at dawn. The air is soft, the world unhurried. Watch each ripple fade, each distraction leave your mind like a wave, finding rest on the shore. In that stillness, your focus sharpens naturally. You don't chase peace, it finds you. You don't force clarity, it arrives in its own rhythm. The mind, when quiet, becomes a mirror that reflects the world with compassion and wisdom. Ask yourself, what outcomes am I clinging to? Success, validation, perfection, control. These attachments blur your vision. When you act from fear of loss, you build from weakness. But when your focus is born from peace, your actions become pure, unshakable. Is your focus born from peace or fear? This is the question that defines the quality of your discipline. Detachment is not detachment from life. It is detachment from the illusion that you must own or control what you love. You can give your best effort and still release the outcome into the flow of time. That is not resignation, it is wisdom. It is the calm confidence that arises when you trust that life knows what it's doing. How can you detach, yet stay deeply devoted? By surrendering the fruit of action, but never the action itself. You give your full heart, yet you do not bind your identity to the result. That is true focus, pure, undistorted, luminous. The moral is simple. Detachment sharpens devotion. When you release your grip, your purpose becomes clearer, your energy steadier, your peace deeper. The one who detaches does not lose control. They gain vision. And once you learn to see without clinging, you will never be the same again. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I'm mastering myself." 8. Stop overthinking. Let life think through you. What if your overthinking is simply mistrust of the universe? The mind loves to analyze, predict, and prepare. It believes it must think its way out of every uncertainty. But beneath all this effort is fear. Fear that life will not catch you if you let go. The Buddha taught that peace does not come from thinking more, but from thinking less. The mind doubts, the spirit knows. The mind asks, "What if?" The spirit whispers, "It already is." Overthinking is like trying to calm the ocean by stirring it with your hands. The more you churn, the more waves appear. But when you stop struggling, the water begins to settle on its own. In that stillness, truth reveals itself. When clouds of thought disappear, the sky of awareness shines naturally. You were never meant to control every detail. You were meant to witness them unfold. Breathe deeply now. Feel the air move through you. Imagine each thought as a cloud drifting across a vast blue sky. Some clouds are light, others heavy, but none stay forever. You do not need to chase them or analyze their shapes, just watch them pass. The more you observe without grasping, the more space opens within you. In that space, intuition arises, quiet, clear, certain. That is life thinking through you. Ask yourself, what does my mind replay that my soul has already released? How many old fears, conversations, or regrets do you keep alive through repetition? The mind loops because it craves control, but awareness frees because it trusts. Every time you step back from a thought and see it instead of becoming it, you reclaim your peace. How can you trust more and control less? Start with one moment. When faced with uncertainty, instead of tightening your mind, relax your breath. Whisper inwardly, let life think through me. Allow wisdom to flow not from force, but from surrender. The same intelligence that turns seeds into trees and stars into galaxies lives within you. It does not need your worry, only your willingness. Can you let this moment unfold without needing to predict it? Sit quietly and try. You'll discover that when you stop forcing answers, life begins to speak in a language beyond thought, through intuition, through silence, through calm knowing. The moral is clear. The mind solves problems, the spirit dissolves them. Let the clouds pass, trust the sky. The one who stops overthinking begins to live, not just exist. And once you taste that ease, you will never be the same again. 9. Your calm is your true power. Why react when peace gives you the greatest influence of all? The world teaches us that power is loud, that strength is domination, that control is victory. But the Buddha taught a softer, deeper truth. Real power is calm. Nothing shakes one who has rooted in stillness. True mastery is not in winning the argument, but in not needing to. It is the quiet confidence of knowing that storms pass, but the mountain remains. A mountain never lowers itself to meet the storm. It simply lets the clouds pass. The wind may roar, the rain may fall, yet the mountain stands, unmoved, unchanged, eternal. That mountain is your inner self. When your calm is firm, no opinion, failure, or fear can uproot you. Calm is not inaction. It is wisdom in motion. It allows you to act without reacting, to see clearly when others are lost in emotion, and to bring peace where chaos wants control. Feel yourself grounded, unmovable, while the winds of life swirl around. Breathe into your center and imagine roots extending deep into the earth, steady, patient, and strong. The noise around you is temporary. Your stillness is eternal. Every breath deepens your anchor. Every pause gathers strength. Calm does not mean you don't care. It means you care so deeply that you refuse to be pulled away from truth. Ask yourself, when do I lose my calm the fastest? Notice those moments. They reveal where your peace is still conditional. It may be impatience with others, frustration when plans change, or the need to be understood. Each time you are triggered, life is showing you the next lesson in mastery. What could patience give you that anger never will? Patience gives wisdom, while anger only gives regret. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you build an invisible power that no one can take away. How can you embody stillness in conflict? By remembering that you do not need to prove truth. It shines on its own. Speak only when your words carry clarity, not reaction. Step back before responding. Breathe once before answering. Silence, when rooted in awareness, transforms the energy of every room you enter. The moral is simple but profound. Calm is not weakness. It is command over chaos. It is the highest form of strength, the mark of one who has met their own mind and made peace with it. When you root yourself in stillness, storms no longer intimidate you. They remind you of how steady you have become. And once you learn this, you will never be the same again. What if the world responds to who you are, not what you want? So many chase results, hoping the universe will finally notice them. They strive, they demand, they push. Yet the Buddha's wisdom whispers a different truth, that existence doesn't answer effort, it answers energy. Your state of being is your loudest message to existence. Before words, before plans, before prayers, your energy speaks first. The quality of your inner world shapes the way the outer world moves toward you. The sun doesn't chase flowers, it simply shines, and they turn toward it. This is the quiet secret of alignment. The sun doesn't force, convince, or control. It just embodies its nature, and in that radiance, life responds naturally. The same happens within you. When you are anchored in calm, life reflects calmness. When you act from love, you draw love. When you move from fear, the world seems filled with obstacles. The energy you carry becomes the weather around you. Close your eyes. Imagine radiating calmness so strong that everything aligns to it. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your chest soften. See yourself as a silent sun, not burning with desire, but glowing with presence. You do not need to chase what is meant for you. You simply need to align with it. The river doesn't rush to reach the ocean. It flows because it knows where it's meant to go. When your inner current flows peacefully, life joins in harmony with it. Ask yourself, what energy do I radiate most days? Is it peace or pressure? Openness or fear? Notice how your inner state becomes the mirror of your reality. The people you attract, the situations you face, they often echo the vibration you hold. How does your inner state shape your reality? When you are restless, even blessings feel incomplete. But when you are grounded, even challenges carry beauty. What would change if you led with peace instead of effort? You'd begin to see that peace is not passive. It's magnetic. Effort tries to control the outcome. Peace allows the outcome to unfold. The calm mind sees opportunities that chaos cannot. The centered soul acts with precision, not panic. The moral is clear. 10. Master your energy, and the universe will follow. You don't have to fight for alignment. You have to become it. Let your inner light speak louder than your fear, your calm stronger than your words. For when you shine from within, everything that belongs to you will find its way home. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I'm mastering myself." 11. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. What if giving up control is the ultimate strength? We are taught to hold on tightly to plans, people, and outcomes, as if our grip keeps life from falling apart. Yet in truth, it is that very grip that exhausts us. The Buddha taught that suffering is born from clinging. We cling because we fear the unknown, forgetting that the unknown is the birthplace of all possibility. When you stop pushing the river, you finally flow with it. Life was never meant to be wrestled into submission. It was meant to be understood, trusted, and followed like a sacred rhythm. A leaf doesn't struggle to float. It trusts the current to carry it home. Imagine that leaf, soft, surrendered, weightless. It does not know where the river bends, yet it moves without resistance. That is not weakness. That is harmony. True strength lies not in forcing direction, but in aligning with the current of truth. When you stop fighting life, you begin to feel its intelligence moving through you, guiding, teaching, unfolding with quiet perfection. Exhale deeply. Imagine yourself letting go of the oars, allowing life to lead you. Feel the release in your chest as you surrender control. The waves you feared start to calm. You realize they were never against you. They were always carrying you toward something greater. When you loosen your grip, you make room for grace to work. Surrender does not mean you give up your power. It means you stop misusing it. You shift from control to cooperation, from fear to faith. Ask yourself, where am I resisting what is already meant for me? What pain am I creating by fighting what is unfolding? There are moments when life closes a door, not to punish you, but to redirect you toward your real path. What could happen if you replaced control with trust? Maybe peace would enter where pressure once lived. Maybe clarity would rise where confusion once ruled. Can you believe that surrender leads you where you belong? The mind will always say, I must know. But the soul whispers, I already trust. To surrender is to step aside and let life's wisdom guide you. It is remembering that you are part of a current that has never stopped flowing since the beginning of time. So let go of the oars. Stop trying to push the river. Trust that the same force that moves the stars also moves you. And when you finally surrender, you will see you were never drifting away. You were being carried home. Bonus lesson. When you master yourself, you master life. What if every external victory is just an echo of an inner one? We chase achievements, approval, and control, believing the world must change for us to feel whole. Yet the Buddha reminded us, he who rules himself rules the world. True mastery has never been about conquering circumstances, but about mastering the self that meets them. You cannot command the winds, but you can command your sails. You cannot silence the storm, but you can steady your heart within it. When the inner kingdom is in order, the outer world shifts into harmony. Imagine yourself as a calm emperor, seated on the throne of awareness. Around you, emotions move like advisors: anger, fear, desire, joy. You listen, but you are not ruled by them. You are the one who decides which thoughts to keep and which impulses to release. In this kingdom, peace is not weakness, it is law. Discipline is not a burden, it is the bridge to freedom. Close your eyes and see it clearly. Picture yourself no longer reacting, but responding. Feel how light it becomes when you stop battling your emotions and start understanding them. Every moment becomes a mirror, showing you where your mind still clings, where your heart still resists. When you master yourself, life begins to align, not because the world obeys, but because your perception turns chaos into clarity. Ask yourself gently, what inner chaos do I still allow to rule me? Is it doubt, anger, or the need to be right? Remember, the greatest warriors are not those who fight others, but those who dissolve their inner conflicts with awareness. The battle for peace is not fought with effort, but with presence. What does mastery feel like? Perhaps it is silence, the kind that hums with wisdom, or joy, the steady calm that needs no reason, or freedom, the release from being controlled by your own reactions. How can you live each day from this higher state? Begin with mindfulness. Pause before you speak, breathe before you decide, and listen before you act. See life not as an opponent to conquer, but as a teacher to learn from. Every challenge invites you to return to your throne. When you master yourself, you master life, because the outer world only reflects the harmony or chaos within. And when your inner kingdom rests in peace, no storm outside can shake your reign. Quick summary of the principles. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Growth begins when you stop comforting your weaknesses and start confronting them. Excuses hide fear and delay transformation. True mastery requires honesty with yourself. No more bargaining with limitation. Silence is not emptiness, it's power gathering. Silence is where strength returns. In quiet moments, wisdom speaks clearly and confusion fades away. The more time you spend in stillness, the more grounded and strong you become. Conquer yourself, and you conquer everything. The greatest battle is within, against doubt, fear, and emotional chaos. Once you master your reactions, no external challenge can overpower you. Inner victory naturally brings outer harmony. Let the old you die with grace. Every version of you that no longer serves must be released. True transformation requires letting go of endings and trusting new beginnings. Growth means allowing what has expired to fall away. Don't try to control life. Understand it. Peace begins when you stop forcing life and start observing its flow. Control comes from fear. Understanding comes from wisdom. Flowing with life makes you far more powerful than resisting it. Subtract, don't add. The secret of growth. Real progress is not about doing more, but needing less. When you remove distractions, clarity and focus naturally appear. Simplicity is the highest form of spiritual growth. Detach to discover your true focus. Attachment clouds judgment and weakens purpose. When you let go of outcomes, your energy becomes clean and steady. Detachment brings true concentration and freedom. Stop overthinking. Let life think through you. Overthinking is mistrust of life's natural intelligence. When you quiet the mind, intuition becomes your guide. Trust replaces tension, and clarity returns with ease. Your calm is your true power. Calmness is strength under control. When you stay peaceful in chaos, you shape reality instead of reacting to it. Inner stillness commands respect without effort. Master your energy, the universe will follow. Everything responds to your vibration. The energy you hold becomes the script of your life. When your inner state is stable and loving, life aligns with your peace. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. Letting go doesn't mean defeat. It means flowing with life's higher order. When you stop resisting, things begin to align naturally. Trusting the flow brings perfect timing into your life. When you master yourself, you master life. All external success mirrors internal order. The one who governs their emotions, thoughts, and energy shapes their destiny. Self-mastery is the root of freedom, peace, and purpose. When you finally stop chasing, forcing, and proving, you discover something deep. You were never meant to control life, only to understand it. Every struggle, every delay, every pain was the universe refining your spirit for clarity. The moment you turn inward and work on yourself, the outer world starts to reflect your new state. This is the art of self-mastery, not dominance, but harmony. Remember, the world doesn't bend to effort, it bends to energy. The calm mind holds more power than 1,000 plans. As you learn to let go, detach, and trust, you don't lose control. You gain peace. And in that peace, everything begins to move toward you with ease. Enlightenment is not about becoming more. It is about realizing there was never anything missing. If this message touched your heart, like and share this video. Share your thoughts in the comment box for more Buddhist insights on mastering yourself and living a truly peaceful life.